Let's see what joyous fun we can get into today using just 8 mods and building out little towns all over this beautiful map. Today in our mass transit DLC town, we are adding in ferries and connecting the ferries to our monorail and train systems, along with adding a little housing in too on the hillside. I'm so excited. Let's get started. Before we move on to adding in our ferries, I do want to take this area of our Noobcastle, our mass transit DLC town, and kind of bring some details in just to kind of make this area feel complete, bring it to life, and do a little bit more asset selections with the green cities. I want to create a little farmer's market in the center here, a little mini one. And I think we can just do some really basic detailing and just kind of bring this to life. So when I'm approaching detailing an area, I just try to look and see how would people functionally use the space first. So right here we see we have a walking path. So I think some fencing, we are on a hill, so I think some fencing would be good. Leaving room to bring the walking path through, and then just creating some nice open green space. Right now we are right next to what our financial district is for this town. People need a place to go sit, get away from the office, or just have a nice walk home. So I like to think about that when I'm detailing a space up. So let's just add a little bit of zhuzh to this area, and then we're going to move on to detailing in between all the buildings, which is going to be so super simple, but it's going to turn out looking really sharp. I want to pick a tree for this area. I think I want to use some of the trees that came with the map. We have some different ones here. I just like to kind of go through, how does the tree look with the buildings? How does it make the area feel? And that's really how I go about deciding what tree to use. I'm absolutely obsessed now that we can change out trees on the roads. It just gives so much life to an area, and I'm obsessed with this tree. I love the way it looks with kind of these older style facades that we get with these financial buildings. And I like that it's different than the tree than we have in our other town. We went with the young lindens. So I think we're gonna go with this just kind of fall inspired tree. I really like it. So I went ahead, and last episode you saw me lay down a bunch of path work before I did zoning. I love seeing people already using them. That's so great. And all I am going to do in between these buildings is just add a little bit of bush lining along the paths, and that's all you need. It really takes an area and makes it look more intentionally landscaped and just gives it a nice touch, and it doesn't take any time at all. Even if you don't have prop line tool, it's really easy just to line a path, and I really like doing that. You can even take it a step easier and use a path that already has trees and then change out for the ones that you want. I'm adding in a bunch of parking here on this side of town. A lot of people are going to be coming here to work, and I think that's going to be really important, especially where we have bike roads and there won't be parking. And again, I'm just going to go through and add in zoning where it didn't get zoned before, add in some paths and add in a little bit more detail. And I'm just going to methodically go through block by block and see where we need to fill in those little gaps. Now for this side of town, this is where our commercial buildings live. We do have the little farmer's market that we'll dive into. We have a little coffee shops sprinkled throughout, but this is kind of the main area where you would come get your groceries, the pharmacy, restaurant. This is kind of it for this area. So I want to give this place a little different feel. So I'm using little flower bushes to line this area. We'll still pull through the same trees on the road, but I just want to give it a bit of a different feeling than just the bushes lining the path, just to distinguish this area from the rest of the financial buildings. A lot of times you'll get little corners like this due to zoning in your cities. You can just do something simple like I'm doing here, just taking a couple rocks, some little bushes, add in a little tree or two, and you just created kind of a nice little cluster, and it just kind of completes an area. It makes it look nice when you have that. And you'll notice I do that in a couple areas in this town. And I think it's good whenever you're approaching a certain neighborhood in your city to kind of stick with the same trees and the same pattern. It just helps make a place feel more concise and put together, a little bit more intentional. So you'll see in this area I use a lot of the rocks, flower bushes, and shrubbery with the young linden at the little corners where I wanted to fill in some space. Now I'm carefully watching these high density green city buildings. I'm waiting until they upgrade till they all get the grass fancy roofs. I love the look of that. I'm not too concerned about the height with these smaller footprint of these green city buildings. So again, I'm just watching them. As soon as they turn, then I mark them historical. But I really love the look of the basically like the gardens on the roof. I think it's so cool. And again, it adds detail to your city as well. It just really brings life to an area. That's why I love those green city buildings. And I think they actually look really nice next to these financial buildings. It's kind of an odd pairing, but I do like them. Okay, now on to this little space I intentionally left to create a little farmer's market in the center of this part of town. If you have watched my stuff for any length of time, you know I love making little farmer's markets. It's like my favorite thing. So a lot of times what I'll do is just be very selective with the zoning. Sometimes I do use Find It, but I also think you get some more unique buildings if you just let zoning fill in and play the whack-a-mole game. So some of these buildings have parking and pavement. I'm going to delete those. We're going to wait and get in the right buildings and really make this feel like a little farmer's market right in the heart of our financial district. I think this turned out so cute. It is exactly what I was thinking. Okay, now I'm just going back. Again, I'm just slowly moving block by block, and that's another thing you can do in your city. It's a good detailing tip. It can be overwhelming to look at everything, so if you just take it a little section at a time, it actually goes by pretty quick. Now, I intentionally put this little coffee shop here near the residential buildings. It's always nice if you live near a coffee shop or a place to get tea, something like that. We're gonna add another building here on the corner. And the other thing I love to do with these little green city coffee shops is grab one of the little table sets and put it out back just to make more seating so someone can come, grab a coffee and sit outside. Okay, we're just going to keep moving through, again, block by block, and keep up with our same pattern of bushes along our little paved paths, and adding in little bits of rocks and trees where needed, and adding to our zoning. So let's go ahead and complete this area. Okay, I want to give this area a bit more attention. We're near our bank. We've got our nice plaza here. I think I actually want to bring in a second plaza as well, just to kind of make this whole kind of corner feel like a basically like a concrete park, a plaza park, and just bring in some unique trees, do something a little bit different than what we've been doing in the rest of the town, just to make this place feel important. And I really want to see if we can squeeze in. I feel like if we used Move It, we could really get in. I really want this plaza here. I love this one. So let's see if we can't just get this to make sense. I think we can scoot this over a little bit. I'm okay if the trees overlap, as long as they don't overlap on the logical walking path area of this asset. I think it's gonna work. It's definitely not perfect, but I really love the look of that flower plaza, and I just like the idea of having a concrete park here. So we're gonna roll with it. Once we add in all the other bits and pieces, I think it's gonna look really nice. I don't know about you guys, but now this area just feels so good to me. I love these trees with these financial buildings. I love the coloring, and then the Green City high rise. I really just love how this feels. I think this turned out perfectly. And I have that empty section over there near the monorail. We're going to do something with that in another episode, don't worry. But right now, let's move on and get our ferries in. Okay, so we left this space in our first town, and we left it intentionally to add the ferry in. I'm gonna put a quay wall along here. I do really want to take my time in these towns and really make sure. Something I don't normally pay that much a close attention to is like, is the water too far away? Do people have to do the flying jump into the ferry, which they would here? So I really want to take my time in this series. Let's work on the terrain. Let's get the height right, so that way people aren't diving off the dock into the ferry boat. It takes a little bit of extra time, but I think that goes back to the aesthetics of the city and also the functionality, and just kind of adding in a bit of that realism to your nearly vanilla cities. Okay, I think this is going to be a good height. We're not having any flooding, and we're pretty low to the water. Let's take a look at this. Oh, this is so much better. We're going to use Move It and just lower this down right to there. That's actually, I really like this. I think this is great. Okay, let's attach some roads, do just a touch of detailing over here just to complete this area, and then we will go right to the other side to Noobcastle and get our ferry system going. I'm so excited. Okay, moving on to the other side. So there's a few things I want to think about here. Again, I want to make sure we have a good water level for our ferry, and we're going to need the like the ferry terminal where the ferries come out of. The other thing is I want to have a monorail stop right in this area, so that way you can take the monorail right to the ferry and vice versa, and then you can easily get on to the train. So as we're building out all these towns, I'm really going to be thinking strongly about the public transportation connectivity between all of these towns, and also the pedestrian and bike connectivity, which you'll see in the next episode. I've got something a little kind of really unique and fun and sneaky plan for pedestrian connectivity between these two towns I'm so excited about, but it'll be next week. So here again, I'm just smoothing everything out. I want to make sure I have a nice level so that way our ferry is nice and close to the water without flooding. It looks like I got this, just not quite right here because we're still flooding. We got the green on these buildings so I can make those historical now. Let's just bring this up slightly up in height. And then I think we might be perfect. I just went a little too low there. Yes, okay. So let's put in some keys. I'm not doing walkable keys in this area because this is just gonna be for the ferries. We're gonna have some other walking paths. And we want to put in our ferry depot. So I'm gonna put that on that side. And I think actually we'll put this all the way down at the end. Yeah, okay, let's do that. And then let's get this all connected up. Those connections turned out pretty smoothly, especially with the terrain, so I'm very happy with that. Okay, I'm gonna break the road right here, and this is where we're going to put in our monorail. Okay, I'm just gonna bring a little bit of land out here. So what I actually want to do is bring in a little walking path, not a little walking path, a walking path that goes down to the ferry, but you can access it from either side of the monorail here, where we've got the natural crosswalks. And then we'll do something coming down in the middle. Yeah, I think this is gonna work out really well. And just also, you know, one of my favorite things in the game is just watching people move around. So this is gonna be such a great oh, that's not good at all. I think we're going to make this a longer walkway. Maybe if we go out and down from here and maybe connect with a nice curve, that might work. Something like that possibly. And again, trial and error, guys. When you're new and trying to figure this stuff out, you can just mess around with stuff till you get it the way you want it. I think I want this much longer length. And that's why Move It is a must-have mod for me. I think that's still a little cumbersome. We want to make it easy for people. So let's make this a bit of a longer ramp. And then let's curve this way. And then we'll go down a step. And we'll go down a step again. It does not like that. Let's straighten that out. We'll give ourselves a little bit more room. You're gonna go away. Struggle is real. Here we go. Look at that. Hey, that is not too shabby. I think we can lift this up a little bit. And make that more even. And if we move this up a little bit. Hey, there we go. Now we've got a nice walking path. Perfect. Okay. Now that we've got that connected, we can go there. This is going to be like the world's shortest ferry ride, but I'm gonna pop in our ferry lines, and we definitely just need one ferry, so that's fine. And there's our ferry coming out. This is great. I am so excited about this. I think this is gonna get really heavily used. So I'm very excited. Okay, so let's think about our transit in our first town we did, so New Brighton. So I think what we're gonna want to do is actually just bring a stop right in front of the ferry, and then we can just move this one back and bring this one down. Yeah, I think that's gonna work really well. Look, I just saw someone going down to the ferry. It's already getting used. Let's speed this up. Yeah, I think one ferry is gonna be fine. It's not like you have to wait long for the ferry to come. It's just back and forth. That's so fun. Okay, so on this map, you can see where we're gonna be able to continue our ferry system. There's so much water connectivity on this map, which I'm really excited about. But even just down in this area, you can see where there's going to be some connectivity there, which I'm so excited about. And even with our monorail, we're going to be able to add more monorail stops in this city as it grows. This is getting some usage. This will end up getting more usage. We'll add probably another stop, maybe in here. 100% we are going to get some housing up here where there's going to be a nice view of the of New Brighton and the water. I'm excited to do that today, but the thing I remembered is I didn't put in any death care. Now, if you know me, I normally am not someone who just likes to throw down a service building to throw down a service building, but that's what we're going to do today. This will have a more permanent home somewhere else later. We're just going to put that down for now. So the thing I want to think about is also connecting from our financial district here is connecting in our bike network. And this little road here makes so much sense. We've got our bike lanes right here. So we're just going to upgrade this. Let's make sure we put our tree on there. And then we can work on bringing a little path connecting this way as well. Turned out so nice. Just a little fencing and a little trees, guys. That's really all you need for detailing. Of course, you can do way more than that, but you don't need much. Okay, I want these cars to not park here. I want to use some of the nice covered parking that we recently got and put that in here and just force the cars to park in there. Another one of the main reasons I love the TPME, because then I can just say, here, everyone, go park where I tell you to park. So we'll add some of those in, and then I think we could use another path connection actually on the other side as well. Just connecting up here. I just always like to think of what's going to make it easier for people to get places. And this is a bit of a hill, but I think this is going to work out okay. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Okay, let's add some more fencing and trees and really bring this ferry area together and looking sharp. I really like how this turned out. I don't mind leaving all this green space in between the ferry terminal and the road. We've got the fencing. I don't think we need to add more trees or bushes. It's good just to have open green space in your city in some cases. So I think that can just stay there. Okay, I do want to bring some parking right in front of the monorail. So I think I'm going to bring a little road in here and just try to make up a designated parking area. Okay, we've got the rest of our fencing and our parking in. Let's work on our houses up on the hill. Okay, for this section of the hill, I've gone ahead and went with the mid-century modern. I think it's going to actually end up looking so cool as like these more luxury houses on the hill. A lot of these 4x4s will come in with pools, which I just think is so cool. And I think it's just going to give, see, there's one already coming in with a pool. I think it's just going to give a really cool vibe to this kind of like luxury housing on the hill, which I'm obsessed with. I think it's going to end up looking really cool. Okay, we've got our pedestrian connections, and the other thing I've done in this area is use the leisure right here, because I think right here you are right across from the ferry. You've got the monorail. Why not use this as a place for some restaurants, a little bit of entertainment? I'd love to get a salon and a gym down in here as well. So we're just going to play whack-a-mole and just get a nice combination of buildings that the community could use for entertainment purposes. Okay, I feel like we have a really nice selection in here. I got the beauty salon and the gym, which I really wanted. Even though this is a different district, we know we're going to want our mid-century modern over here. So I'm just gonna pull that over, and then I'm gonna make sure, even though the other zoned area you see is also called Noobcastle, that's our town, I'm just gonna call all of this Noobcastle, even though it's got different zoning. But let's grab a look here. Yes, look at this. What a cool view. I love how these houses look. Still lots of detailing to do up here, but I really like how this is starting to come together. Oh, this is so fun. I hope you guys are liking the vibe of this town so far. It feels very different from New Brighton. And again, we're trying to honor the mass transit DLC, so really focusing on that connectivity between the monorail and the ferries. Now, we will be adding in cable cars and blimps that will come in next week's episode. I'm going to do some detailing behind our entertainment area here and just really trying to pull this area of our town together. Let's give this some park space so we can put in some park assets back here and just have some fun with this area. Love how this whole area feels. Still lots of detailing to do up on the hill here, but this is really starting to come together. Let's grab a first-person view walk around our city. Where you're going? You're going over there. Oh, that's perfect. All right, let's take a little walk. I know I've told you guys this, but I love getting down in this view when you're building your city. It really keys you into how does a place feel, and I think it's really important. Oh good, we're taking a little path in between the buildings. I love this. This is so cute. I really like how this place feels. We're gonna go all the way to the coffee shop. Yeah, I love how all those little flowers turned out in this area. Kind of gives it that different feel that we wanted. And we're at the coffee shop. Awesome! Guys, I really love how this area of town has come together. I hope you have as well. Let's just catch this view again from the top. You'll see I have 2 ferries. We actually did have to add 2 ferries. It's very popular right now. So yeah, I hope that you guys like how this all came together. I am so excited to keep building out this town. I have a lot of fun ideas for our next episode. I'm wishing you all a joyful day, and I'll catch you next time.